Hospitals in Puerto Rico are facing dangerous power outages as widespread shortages of food, fuel, and water on the island are reportedly growing worse. Well, it's been 1 week since Hurricane Marina slammed into the U.S. territory. More than 3.4 million American citizens on the island remain without electricity and access to communication. At least 10 deaths have been confirmed, as officials warn that number may grow. And for more, we go live now to RT's Marina Portnaya in Miami. So, Marina, the widespread loss of power and dangerous conditions in Puerto Rico have crippled emergency medical care on the island. How many hospitals are functioning at the moment?
Well, according to FEMA, 58 out of Puerto Rico's 69 hospitals are without electricity or fuel for generators. Now, of the minimum amount of hospitals currently functioning on the island, maybe around 11, officials say they are at full capacity and face frequent power outages. In one case, desperate tweets have been sent by a physician from the San George Children's Hospital in San Juan, warning that people will die if more assistance is not received. At another hospital in San Juan, 2 people reportedly lost their lives in an intensive care unit after ran out of diesel for the backup generator. Officials say distributing the food, water, fuel, and medicine shipped to Puerto Rico is proving to be challenging, with debris and down power lines still blocking streets. Puerto Rico's governor says they're also lacking enough drivers to transport the goods. Senator Marco Rubio, who visited Puerto Rico, says challenges on the island are extraordinary.
Some of the areas outside of San Juan where there's still no communication and no powers, logic tells you there's probably some very critical medical needs that are unmet in those areas. And assuming we could even identify them, how do you deliver medicines and life-saving supplies across roads that might still not be navigable? And so the challenges are extraordinary, and it will take a much more aggressive federal reaction than we would traditionally see in order to kind of turn the corner on some of this.
Hurricane Maria was the most devastating and powerful storm to hit Puerto Rico in more than 80 years. An estimated 44% of residents on the island still don't have clean drinking water, and many are standing in line for up to 12 hours for fuel.
And as we reported yesterday, the Department of Homeland Security has refused to waive shipping restrictions under the Jones Act to help get gasoline and other supplies to Puerto Rico, basically. So Senator John McCain is calling on the DHS to rethink its decision, citing Texas and Florida as examples. Can you tell us about any updates on this?
Absolutely. Now, let's give our viewers some background. The Jones Act prohibits foreign flag vessels from picking up and delivering fuel and goods between U.S. ports. So this means all shipping to Puerto Rico is limited to U.S. flagged vessels. As a result, the people of Puerto Rico are often forced to pay at least twice as much for food, clean drinking water, supplies, etc. In a letter to DHS, Arizona Senator John McCain called the department's decision unacceptable, citing the agency's willingness to waive the Jones Act for relief efforts in Texas and Florida following Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. Senator McCain urged DHS to rethink its decision, warning that Puerto Rico faces a humanitarian crisis as the island's 3.5 million people struggle to survive without electricity or clean water. Officials estimate the island could be without power for up to 6 months. Now, following the outcry over the rejection to waive the Jones Act for Puerto Rico, President Trump said that the White House is considering issuing a waiver for the island. But the U.S. leader noted that the shipping industry has voiced its opposition because, of course, it hurts their business interests.
Interesting. And so President Donald Trump says that his administration is doing a very good job in aiding Puerto Rico, insisting that recovery efforts on the U.S. territory are more challenging to organize, of course, because Puerto Rico is on an island. So what's the general sense of what people are saying on the streets of Puerto Rico about the president's response?
Well, Puerto Rico's Governor Ricardo Rossello says he is confident that the president and his administration will help the island, and Puerto Ricans should be grateful for the federal response so far. However, many residents in Puerto Rico feel President Trump, who has yet to visit the U.S. territory, has failed to evaluate the real level of the damage. The U.S. president visited Texas and Florida just a few days after the states were hit by hurricanes, but Mr. Trump won't be to Puerto Rico until next Tuesday. Take a listen to what residents there have to say.
If he could show his power in Puerto Rico, things would be different, very different. Many people don't trust him.
Mucha gente no confían en él.
All he knows to do is make money, just money for the United States. But he doesn't think about talking to people to see what is better, to communicate with the locals to see what we need. All he thinks about is sending money. They haven't evaluated the real level of the damage. They are doing what they can, however they can, but since there isn't communication, people don't know what to do or how to do it. The shelters have collapsed, I heard from the federal.
Obviously, you hear the frustrations and anger among many Puerto Ricans as the island faces a very long road of recovery and rebuilding.
Marina Portnaya reporting in Miami. Thank you.
Thank you.